Hometown Ghost Stories contains serious and often distressing events and is not intended for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to another paranormal update here on Hometown Ghost Stories, where we go around and we find brand new or relatively new stories about the paranormal. Could be anything: UFOs, ghost sightings, Bigfoot sightings, dinosaur sightings, you name it. Could be anything. Let's see what we have this week on our brand new paranormal update. All right, welcome in, folks. So we have some brand new stories to tell you guys. These are some newer stories that are happening all around the world. We have ghost sightings. We have some other stuff in store for you. I'm excited about it. I'm Jesse Wilkins. I am joined by Rob Coakley. Hello, Rob.
What I can promise you guys we are not going to cover this week is feathered dinosaurs. There will be no feathered dinosaur conversation weaved in between our tales of the paranormal while we talk about these newer stories, because dinosaurs lived like at least 70 years ago, right? So they do not qualify for the paranormal update.
That is a good point. Although you did just isolate our entire feathered dinosaur niche community that will be tuning out of this episode. But for everybody else, we're going to hop into some news stories. We're also joined by Dave.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's kick it off with one down in New Mexico. This one is titled "Mom Living in Haunted House Reaches Out to Previous Owner and Gets Eerie Response Report."
I wonder what that'll be about.
I'm guessing it's going to be about a mom who was living in a haunted house, and she's going to go ahead and reach out to the previous owner. And I'm thinking that the response might be eerie.
Let's see.
According to this report, we'll find out. This one is from Fox News. A woman living in a haunted 1920s New Mexico home says that her cat and son see a haunting presence. Now, I do wonder if that's cat. Her son is a cat.
Is there a comma after cat?
Nope.
Oh, if that's cat and son, that's her son cat.
That's her son, the cat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Renee Valdez says that.
Or it's a grammatical error on the...
That's never happened on the internet before, so we'll have to see. Renee Valdez says that her son told her, okay, so we can rule that out. Probably not the cat anymore. But
that's another paranormal thing.
You never know. I'm glad we were able to mostly clear that up right away. Renee Valdez says that her son told her about a man that I see in my room with an old hat that peeks in from the bathroom. She told Inside Edition. That's creepy. Gave me goosebumps right off the bat. Valdez reportedly spoke to the previous owner on Facebook, who said, "Oh, I've been expecting you."
What?
I can only imagine that they spun around in their chair like this. She's like, "My son sees a man with a hat." And she described what our son sees. So that was weird and scared the crap out of me. That was beautifully written. Beautifully written.
Did they include a little SIC in parentheses?
No, but you know what they didn't have to include was when she said, "She's like."
Yeah.
They didn't include a comma. You think they're going to include parentheses?
She's like, "My son with the hat saw his fucking thing," and this bullshit. Anyways,
well, they'll put the parentheses SIC after a quote, and that means like this is a direct quote. They said dumb shit, not me. That's what that means.
I've always wondered what that meant.
Yeah.
Anyways, Valdez described a list of unusual noises and unexplained stuff that she and her girlfriend hear daily. There is an unconnected doorbell that violently rings at night, a basement camera that caught the chairs sliding across the floor, and an Alexa device alerting them about calls ringing from inside of the home, she said. Now, that's a list of pretty scary things. The first thing that kind of struck me was the unconnected doorbell that violently dings. And my first instinct is, how is a doorbell dinging violently? But I've experienced this in my own home. I mean, it really just means it's dinging rapidly. But it sounds violent when you're not expecting that, and when it's a disconnected doorbell. So that's some scary stuff. However, what freaks her out is her pets' responses. The pets have the most reaction, said Valdez, who specifically mentioned her gray cat, Ruth. Ruth sees things in the bedroom constantly. I mean, they interrupt her. It follows her. It modes around, Valdez told Inside Edition. I mean, she's always seeing it, and it freaks me out. I don't like her reactions because her ears go back. She is definitely following something that's up there. Valdez, her girlfriend, her son, and the pets still live in the house and plan to stay there with their shadowy roommate. Quote, I feel like I'm in its space more than it's in mine in a way, Valdez said. Whatever it is, it was here before us. They're not bothering me, so I'm not going to let it go. I kind of love him, she says. Like, in its own way, he's icing on the cake of this creepy 1920s house that I bought. So a lot of things going on here. We have a lot of things that we've seen before where the kids and the pets, we always say this, the kids and the pets can see things that we probably can't. They're also getting unexplained sounds, the doorbell going off. They said that a camera had caught the chairs sliding across the floor. And then their Alexa device alerting them about calls ringing from inside the house.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
A lot of scary things going on with this story. Absolute awesome name for a cat, Ruth. We like that. Yep. And it seems to be one cat in particular that's affected by it. And it seems to be sensing something negative where the ears go back. And it definitely doesn't like what it's seeing. So
there's nothing worse than when you're sitting in your house and it's dark and one of your pets just starts freaking out over something in the corner and you look over and there's nothing there. It's like, oh God, I hope it's a small bug.
Yeah, true. Absolutely true. It's scary stuff. That's a pretty cool story. But that one it's not the newest story. I believe that one was back in 2017. No, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. It was October 17th, 2023. So that actually wasn't that long ago. So forgive me. At 1:03 p.m. That's when he posted the article. But that was by Chris Eberhardt of Fox News.
Interesting. That is a good one. I do like the haunted house stories. That one was particularly creepy. And it reminds me a little bit of Rob's story where the previous owners or the new owners verified stuff that the previous owners were seeing.
Yeah, the whole I've been expecting you.
Yes.
Apparently New Mexico doesn't have that law where you're supposed to disclose if your house is haunted because that person definitely knew. Yep, they knew.
All right, let's we'll stay near New Mexico and we'll keep it in the desert. This story is from Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was posted to less than 2 weeks ago, end of June. And the title is Shiny Monolith Removed from Mountains Outside Las Vegas. How it got there is still a mystery. I'm going to share an image of this real quick because I want you to be able to see it before I start reading the article and say, what are you talking about? So if you're listening, then we will describe it to you. But if you're watching, here it is. So this is the monolith. And if you're looking at it, it kind of looks like a tiny skyscraper, but without windows. And it's basically completely made of what looks like chrome. Now, the actual size is in the article, so we'll get to that. But it's weird, and it's attached to the ground with rebar. So we'll get into this article, and I will stop sharing. Here we go. Las Vegas. This is from the Associated Press. A strange monolith found jutting out of the rocks in a remote mountain range near Las Vegas has been taken down by authorities. How it got there is still unsolved. Quote, it remains unknown how the item got to its location or who might be responsible, Las Vegas police said Friday in a series of posts on X announcing the removal of the glimmering 6'4" prism. Its discovery over the weekend and quick removal because of public safety and environmental concerns revived a pandemic-era mystery that captured the public's imagination with shiny monoliths evoking the object that appears in the Stanley Kubrick movie 2001: A Space Odyssey as they began to appear around the globe. Members of the Las Vegas Police Search and Rescue Team found the object near Gas Peak, part of the vast Desert National Wildlife Refuge, where bighorn sheep and desert tortoises can be found roaming.
So real quick, they found multiples of this monolith all around the world.
Yeah, that's where it gets weird. I think they're going to go into that now.
I do remember when they started popping up, and everyone was they thought it was Elon Musk. They thought it was Banksy. as far as I know, they still haven't figured out who was actually putting these things up.
Yeah, when they talk about where these things were popping up and the how big they were and how impractical it was to get them out to the locations where they were and how they were attached to the ground, this was obviously deliberate, and it wasn't done by somebody who doesn't have the resources to do something like that. So I don't know what the possibilities are. We could talk about that after, but it was the latest discovery in a series of mysterious columns that have popped up since at least 2020. In November of that year, a similar metal monolith was found deep in the Mars-like landscape of Utah's Red Rock Desert. Then came sightings in Romania, Central California, New Mexico, and on the famed Fremont Street in downtown Las Vegas. So
wait, this thing showed up in the middle of the street in Vegas and they didn't get anybody on security camera? It's one of the most heavily monitored cities in the world.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know if
crazy.
it was in the middle of the street, but it said it was on Fremont Street. So how would they get it there unnoticed without people seeing it?
Right. I mean, a lot of Fremont Street is closed off, so it's just foot traffic. That's like Old Vegas, is Fremont Street. So you could definitely walk out there, but people are going to notice you putting a freaking monolith up. It doesn't matter what hour, too. We're talking Vegas. This is 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, you might be able to go out in the middle of my street right now and put something up without a car driving by in 15 minutes. But in Vegas,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the one that blows my mind.
There's a lot of construction that goes on in Vegas. So if you find a construction, I don't know where on Fremont Street this was, but if it was near a construction area, people might not have noticed a rogue construction crew popping something up real quick.
Is there more to the article, or can we start discussing?
There's a little more to the article. So all of them disappeared as quickly as they popped up, adding to the lore. This thing is not from another world, Lieutenant Nick Street of Utah's Department of Public Safety said at the time. The Utah monolith, believed to be the first in the series, had been embedded in the rock in an area so remote that officials didn't immediately reveal its location for fear of people getting lost or stranded while trying to find it. But internet sleuths quickly found the coordinates, and hordes of curious tourists eager to see and touch the otherworldly object arrived, flattened plants with their cars, and left behind human waste in the bathroom-free back country. Authorities said that the same concerns led them to tear down the latest monolith on Thursday. It was illegally installed on federal land, established to protect bighorn sheep and home to rare plants and desert tortoises. The National Wildlife Refuge, which is managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, is the largest wildlife refuge outside of Alaska and can cover the entire state of Rhode Island twice. So the police department said the object was being kept at a secret location while authorities tried to figure out the best way to dispose or store the massive structure made out of reflective sheet metal that was molded into a prism and secured with rebar and concrete. So the installation of this thing was serious. The department said it discourages anyone from venturing off the marked trails or leaving the objects and items behind. This poses a danger to you and the environment. In Utah, the removal of the monolith, they're also left behind a hole in the red rock. The Bureau of Land Management said Friday that it was still actively investigating the Utah case.
Okay, so I get it. I get the whole removal thing. Because we know how shitty tourists can be. We deal with this in haunted locations too, where some places will just close their doors because people that come to investigate these haunted places, they leave their trash behind, they tag up the place, they chip off a piece of the building and sell it on eBay. You just get some people just suck. Right. In this situation, it does seem like you're going into a thing where they're trying to protect the wildlife, the desert tortoises, which I didn't know was a thing. Now I know, but you have don't turtles need water? We don't have to do this. We don't have to get sidetracked. Anyways,
Others.
good. Let's talk about it.
You promised, Rob.
But and you get people that are coming to visit this thing. Now, while this thing by itself might not be actually causing any harm to the environment, people parking their cars and driving out, leaving their trash behind, shitting all over the place, apparently. It's understandable and makes sense, but it's also an easy out for the authorities if they were involved. Now, I doubt local authorities would be involved in this because it's worldwide. And I mean, at least nationwide. Romania, there's one in Romania though. So if someone's doing it, there's really only, I think, 3 options, right? It's the government doing it for whatever reason. One, it's it could be a private company like Elon Musk doing something that we don't know about,
where we can't figure out because who knows. And number 3 is paranormal, right? What are the fourth option?
The fourth and most likely option is it's a rogue artist. It's like a Banksy type, someone who's out there just doing some sorts of, like some sort of random artwork that's going to create a media buzz. My first thing is Banksy, but like this isn't really his thing, or at least it doesn't seem like it. He's usually doing the kind of stencil spray paint art, doing stuff in museums, and it doesn't seem like his style of art. But this strikes me as him.
This was going on in 2020. Like at some point, if it's an artist, they're going to take credit for it, right? Because they're doing it for clout.
Yeah, he usually will on his website, or at least he'll drop a location, like here's where something might pop up or whatever.
This article is from literally less than 2 weeks ago. So since 2020, nobody's come out and claimed it. So I think that option's out. So if it's the government doing something, I don't know what they would be doing, but why would we? Who knows? It's
on federal land. I'm pretty sure they could do whatever they want, But
no, I know, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do it, but they
strikes me as artist. I'm going to artist most likely.
Again, it's been 4 years. No one took credit for it yet. So if an artist did it, why? Why did they do it?
I don't know, but it created a media firestorm. I mean, they're not benefiting from it because if you're not driving traffic to your website or your socials, like what's the point? But maybe they just did it to make a statement, and maybe they're afraid of the repercussions. You're destroying Red Rock. You're creating an environmental hazard by having tourists come out and see it. And then I guess you took a trip to Romania at some point, decided to do it out there. But due to the...
Why don't we take credit for it?
Let's not do that. I like the boldness of it. If you're wondering what we've been doing with your Patreon money, it's this. We've been building monoliths. But due to the materials that were used in the construction of these things, it just doesn't sound paranormal to me. I just can't picture some alien up there just mixing concrete or whatever. I mean, ghosts aren't building shit like that. I don't know. I got nothing for this one. I think
Rob, you got a theory?
No, I'm trying to think of how we can capitalize on it and claim it and drive traffic to our show.
We're going to end up in federal prison if we take credit for it.
You're the builder. You have to take the rap for this.
I mean, we know tourists can be shitty. Do you think people were out there like slapping their like bumper stickers and logos and stuff on the monoliths, tagging it up, graffiti?
Maybe.
Well, everyone was touching it like it's the goddamn Stanley Cup. So the fingerprints were all over the place.
Have we ruled out hockey trophies?
Yeah, it might be a hockey trophy.
It does kind of look like a hockey trophy.
Yeah, that might be what it is.
Maybe it was. Yeah, maybe it was.
Oh, we figured it out. On to the next story.
All right. We can jump into this next one. Now, this one, I'm sure some of our listeners have heard of this tale. It happened about 5 or 6 years ago. You two might even be familiar with it. There's a million articles on it. I'm going to read the one from People magazine. The title is "Woman Who Married 300-Year-Old Pirate Ghost Announces Their Marriage is Over."
No.
I've seen this. I have seen this article. You know, I didn't pick it. I thought we did it on the show already.
Really?
In a previous either paranormal update or a head. Just do it anyways, because if we have.
There it is. I don't think we've done this one yet,
Okay.
but this one is from Maria Pasquini, and it starts, "It seems like the union between Amanda Teague and a Haitian pirate named Jack is over." Relationships can be tough, especially when one of the parties involved is not of this world. Earlier this year, Amanda Teague, a 45-year-old Jack Sparrow impersonator from Northern Ireland, wed a 300-year-old pirate ghost named Jack. But it seems like their unlikely union has come to an end. "So I feel it's time to let everyone know that my marriage is over," the mother of 5 wrote, according to the Irish Mirror.
Wow, I can't believe they were able to have 5 kids.
It's impressive. "I'll explain all in due course, but for now, all I want to say is to be very careful when dabbling in spirituality. It's not something to mess with." The couple wed in a private ceremony on a boat in the international waters off of Ireland.
I love ghosts. I love ghosts. I believe in ghosts. But you really have to write that she went on a boat by herself and got married.
Yeah. Well, that's where the marriage would be legal, Jesse. It's not legal to marry a ghost in Ireland.
Okay.
We joke, but I do have some theories on this after we read the the article. Teague hired a medium for the ceremony so Jack could say "I do," making the union official on paper. And
I like that move.
Yeah, it's a smart one. And since Jack couldn't put on a ring, Teague held a candle that the ring was placed on, which symbolized Jack. Teague previously told people that their love story began in 2014.
She married a candle. She married a candle. She doesn't want to say it, but she married a candle.
After the ghost of a Haitian man visited her while she was lying in bed. She soon learned that he was Jack, an 18th century pirate who had been left at the altar once before and was ultimately executed for thievery. As she interacted with the entity over the course of several months, Teague claimed she began to develop feelings for it.
He was executed for stealing her heart.
This was about 6 months of communication, so I finally accepted it. Obviously, we had spent a lot of time together, Teague, who was previously married for 6 years, told People. I was horrified to discover I had romantic feelings for him, having never heard of that before. Eventually, Teague said the two even started having a sexual relationship, but she wanted more. Growing up in Ireland in my era, you were taught that if a man bedded you, he should wed you, she said. I knew from my research that spiritual marriage was a thing, so it was more me that wanted to get married than him. He would have been happy like most men with just sex. She went on to tell People that although the public response to her marriage hasn't always been positive, she thinks it's important to speak out about being involved in unconventional relationships. I hope by me coming out, it will encourage others to not feel alone or afraid, she explained. It's not all like the entities. It's not at all like the entities in other horror films. There are loving, caring spirits out there too. You just need to know what you're doing.
I wonder what the wedding vows were. Was it maybe Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack betrothed the candlestick.
She's like, till death to us part. He's like, ho, I got a free pass. I'm already dead.
Yeah. So I did go on to read a little more about this afterwards, and she gets into a little more detail that he was trying to basically take over her body, like possess her, is what she was saying. And she was looking at possibly getting an exorcism. So I think a couple things could be going on here. I think that is a thing that could have happened, where we talk about spirits that sort of emulate what you're looking for almost, or emulate something that makes you feel safe, right? Where we talk about demons that present themselves as children in the beginning. So
yep. I agree with you. Yeah. Oh, sorry, finish your point.
She's clearly into pirates, right? She's a Jack Sparrow impersonator, for God's sakes. So if you're a demon, you could just be like, I'm the ghost of a pirate that lived 300 years ago. And you'd be super excited because, I mean, who the hell doesn't want to talk to a pirate ghost, right? And you can be manipulated by that ill intent spirit or demon.
I think you're spot on. I think it's one thing or the other thing. Number one is, this is a crazy lady, it's all nonsense. Number two possible scenario is it's a demon who's been manipulating her from the start, kind of like what you were just saying there, Rob, where he's like, oh, this is a Jack Sparrow impersonator. She loves pirates. Could be a pirate demon. Who knows? That's new. But I think it was something that was manipulating her all along. If this is a paranormal case and it was just trying to eventually get to that point where it was trying to take her over, and it could have been an exorcism case, she could have been dealing with something demonic. If the story is true, I can tell you what it was not. This was not a love union between woman and ghost. That's just, it was too wacky. It was too perfect. Her being a Jack Sparrow impersonator and then marrying a ghost pirate named Jack. It sounds like a big, kind of like a clout chasing.
That's the other thing.
You know, there's a reason that the story is in the news. She didn't just have her little pirate wedding and live out her days with her pirate husband. No, she wanted this to be in the news. So it's either one thing or the other. It's either bullshit because she was using it to promote her own business, or it was something demonic that was trying to take her over. Or
there's a third option, because I don't think it's either of those. We've covered Richard Gallagher, Dr. Richard Gallagher, on this show before, and he's a clinical psychiatrist who treats people for psychiatry and also sits in on demonic possessions. And he says the majority of demonic possessions are actually people with mental illness, and that sounds a lot more like what this probably is. because you're not close. You're not coming up with a story this off the wall if you're chasing clout, right?
Maybe. I mean, it sounds like she's into the paranormal. She hired a medium for the thing, so it sounds like she kind of knew her way around the ghostly stuff. I think it's either A or B.
My only devil's advocate for you, Dave, is it's almost a perfect story for her because she is a pirate impersonator, right? So if you are cloud chasing, you are helping develop your brand a little bit because this is part of who you are. So I'm not saying it is or isn't.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, Rob, because it could be, these pirate impersonators. I go to the pirate festival every year. They have it down in Cape Cod. It's awesome. It's full of pirate impersonators. These people are awesome. But what's the best way to one up the pirate next to you, right? Because there's about 100 Jack Sparrow impersonators in every town. Good. What's the best way? The best way is to be like, guess what? I married a 300-year-old pirate ghost. So beat that pirate impersonator. That's her actually being so obsessed with that she has clung to like the reality of it, right? Because you can make a pirate documentary, you can study pirates, you can go search for lost treasure, but she went out there and married one of the actual pirates. Like that was her story. So yeah.
It became the most well-known pirate impersonator in Ireland because of it, I would guarantee at that point.
Yeah,
potentially
probably.
The world.
Did we ever confirm whether or not her 5 children were children from that marriage?
I think it was from the previous 6-year marriage that she had, but no confirmation.
Thanks a lot, Fun Police.
I don't think the ghost was all that intimate, to be honest.
If
like we wanted.
If the children are from the ghost, then it absolutely confirms her story, though.
That is true. Mm-hmm. But I stick by my story that the ghost was not intimate. They don't call him Captain Jack for no reason.
It is that's a great joke, Dave. We're excited you told it.
Yep.
All our listeners are, and I think that's the perfect way to end the show. We leave them with that joke.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to wrap this up for us?
I just got it.
Hey.
I'm not even kidding. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I got no fucking idea what he's saying. Yep. Took a while. I'm still waiting for you guys to get my jokes from the last episode. It's weird that you guys still haven't laughed at those, but
that was weeks ago.
By next week, yep.
Weeks ago.
Who knows what bad jokes I'll tell next week, and then you can figure it out on your own. Anyways, that'll do it for this week's paranormal update. Have you found a recent story about some sort of ghostly happening? Could be anything. Could be ghosts. Could be monoliths in the middle of nowhere. Could be UFOs. Could be cryptids. Whatever kind of paranormal stuff that you come
tortoises.
Across. Yeah, says desert tortoises. We didn't really talk about that. Do they have feathers? Nobody knows. Could be any of those things. Send it over. Hit us up on Discord or send it via email. Until next time, I'm Jesse Wilkins. That's Rob Coakley, and that is Dave Wilkins. We will see you. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.